Okay. The processing time is about triangular distribution between 10 to 30 minutes. And afterward, the order have a simplicity will assume noon time taking to move from the machine. And so this is our initial process. This is pretty much what we have already. Model problem one. Okay. This is what we, okay. We will simulate 24 hours throughout the problem. Now we are suppose the machine needs a prior so-called uh, setup and tear down time. So initially, before the process, we need to set up the machine for per distribution between 1 to 4 minutes, most likely 2 minutes. And time taken to tear down is well per between 2 to 5 minutes, most likely 3 minutes. Also, the tear down and setup and tear down processes are carried out by an operator, which is we're going to model as a extra resources. We've done this before. So quickly we start with the empty model. Any questions so far? If not, we're going to start a source, a server, and a sink. As easy as that. I'm going to connect them with path. Okay. So, okay, done. Enter arrival time. What is it? 25 minutes. Processing time. 10 to 30 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay. Oops, sorry. Shrink this. $20 and 30 minutes. As simple as that. Also, and we need a resource. There we go. Need extra resources. We're going to call it operator. Okay. Fairly easy. So since the operator carry out the setup and tear down time, so what we do is in the server, we're going to run the add-on process this time. Before process, I'm going to add a process called, let's do C's. Call it C's operator. Okay. And then we're going to delay for a period of time. Call delay for setup time. I need to determine what is the setup in the tear down time. The reason has been in question one, it asked me to set up a separate statistic to calculate the both setup and tear down time together. So we need to set up a statistic for that, and basically use a tally. Okay, so the hint is you might want to think about generating and store the setup and tear down time into the model entity, state variable, and then later on we can actually tally them. So what do we do? So here we cease the operator, delay for a certain period of time, and this time has to be pre-generated by some random number. So before we do that, I'll go back to the model entity, set up a two-state variable. One we call them, both of them, let's do, okay. Daytime information. First we call the setup time. Okay. A second. Add another one. This one will be tear down. How's that? So we refer them as a model entity setup time, model entity teardown time. So here we can do the assign. Assign setup teardown time. I'm just using these titles to keep track of what we do here. So here we can actually adding a couple. So here we're going to have model entity should be setup time, and this will be random what part, I think something like, whoops, what is it, setup time 1, 2, 4. I should do 1, 2, 4. All right, and make sure is minute. Same thing. We're going to do model entity teardown time equals to random part something. Let's double check what we did. 2, 3, 5. And make sure it is minutes, sorry. And that's it. So after they set it up in this assignment block, I can basically say model entity setup time and delay that many minutes. Okay. So now, also, after this process is done, the process is taking 10 to 30 minutes. After the process is done, I need to release this operator. So after process, what I do is we need to kind of delay for a period of time. Where's the delay? Okay, delay period of time. So this is going to be teardown time. Delay, how many minutes? Model entity, teardown time in minutes. Okay. After delay that, I can release the operator. Release the operator. Then I'm going to tally how much time actually the thing is. Before I can do tally block right here, I'm going to add a tally for the setup and the tear down time together, I need to do tally elements. Okay, tally statistic. Call this. Let's do setup. Tear down time. Okay, and make sure this is time as. Okay, so adding a tally. These are the straightforward thing we're already done, so I'm not going to slow down, explain it to them. So over after process is done, I'm going to tally the two, the only tally I have. And expression will be very simple. Model entity. What is it? Time in system. Question for me. Okay. If not, we're going to continue and should be in minutes. Oh, sorry, it's not supposed to be model entity time in the system. I only want to tally the setup and plus the setup and the tear down time. So it's not time in the system. This is the flow time we did. And here we don't want to collect flow time. So it should be model entity setup time plus model entity tear down time, correct? Add them together instead of the flow time we had before. Everybody okay with this part? Adding the setup time and the tear down time together. Question? If not, we're done for the part. What else we have? Let me double check. Question 1, add the resource or process for the step. Oh, that's it. All right. Running for 24 hours. We can do 24 hours. Okay. Same thing. And you can see from the result tab, setup time, tear down time, total 40 of them coming over. And okay, this set is still hours. Let's change to minutes. On the average, about 5.34 minutes. Question? So want to change. Okay. Now go on to the second part. We're going very fast because I don't want to take too much of your time. Second part, question 2, is adding an additional machine. Adding an additional machine 2, and then adding another a second machine for same setup. Okay, so we want to, each machine has its own process. The resource object, you have a capacity of 2, so both machines can be working. Now, this one's easy. Duplicate this, put it over here, break this link, moving a little bit forward, making some room for the second machine. All right, that's pretty much part 2. And then adding this to 2. Same thing. They're going to call the same process. Since I duplicate this from here to here, and shouldn't be any problem. The only thing I check is make a status label. Usually I do extra things just for visualization. So this will be what? Capacity utilize, isn't it? Yeah. For that operator, wait a second. Looks like I don't have any utilization for operator. Let's see what happened. In the C's block, I didn't do nothing. Sorry. Now I figured it out. Trying to grab operator first. And when we release, we also need to release operator, of course. How can I forget about that? So now you see, actually, they have one occupying, and when they keep coming, it will have more than one. So that's what I forgot. Everybody okay with this part? Sorry, forgot to cease the operator and release the operator. I just leave an empty block over there. And that's pretty much it. Now we're going to question 3. So, both machine server actually running for the same portion, same duplicated add-on process. Okay, so this still works. Part 3. Sorry, question 3. I'm sorry. It is possible to separate a statistic, but won't be part of the problem. Why don't we see if I can accumulate setup time and for just machine 1, setup time for just machine 2. What do we do? Okay, that causes some problem. The really problem is, so I want to accumulate collect a statistic, setup, and tear down time for server 1, and tear down and setup time for server 2 separately. Can we do that? That's the question number 3. So using the question 2 model, we want to separate these two operators, each one for its own operator, using for the same machine, and make the original operator called 1 and the additional operator called 2. And we're going to collect setup and tear down time separately for each one of the machine. All right, let's do that. I'm going to call this guy operator 1. I'm going to make a copy. And this guy gonna call operator 2. But both of them only now has a capacity of 1. I think the homework assignment specify the server 1 only grab operator 1, server 2 only grab operator 2. But there's a problem. They don't want me to change this, okay? To change this, they still want to use the same, cease, release, and delay type of process. What do we do with that? So here is introducing a concept called tokenized process. Usually when a parts go into the server and execute these add-on process, actually a token generated from the original entity actually execute these steps. So there's a token which is representative of that entity actually carry out the steps. However, now we don't know each entity can pass different stages in your process. How can we do that? So we're going to collect a so-called user-defined token. I'm going to add a token called my token. Okay, I can call it any name. Okay, but this is a specialized token. And this token has a couple value carry out with them. And the first one we want to carry out is, now we define which tally I'm going to use and also which operator I'm going to seize and release. So let's take a look what's going on. Over here, I can referring my things to an object. So here we're going to call this which operator, referring to a operator. Second, I want to create an element reference referring to tally statistic. Second, we're going to do which tally. Just define this to begin with. I'm doing some variation later on, so pay attention. First, we define, let me repeat this again. First, we define a customized or user-defined tokens in the definition tokens section. And this token also carry two values. This one first value is which resources I'm going to seize or release. Second value is which tally I'm going to referring to. So here, what I have, going back to the element, I'm going to copy this. So this is 1. I'm going to create another one. I'm going to call it 2. And specify the time is, specify the units is time. So I have 2 tally right now. Okay, 2 tally and 2 resources. See how I'm going to use it. So for the first portion of the server 1, and before and after processing, I'm going to carry out from here. By default, okay, we extend the advanced options section. Okay, by default is using its original token associated to that entity. But now I want to run it by this user-defined token. And I want to have several input. First is the name. Okay, hot operator. Instead of which operator, and actually this is going to be referring to my token which operator. Using what operator and which operator, actually this is a kind of prompt. What do we do for that? Adding the second one. I'm going to define a name called what tally. Referring to my token. See, now you can probably see that the my token dot something is basically my token is almost like an entity. It's a dummy entity kind of carry out these process, okay? But they need two different input parameter. All right, so now the moment I start defining this token lines, and you see some arrows showing up, okay? Because over here, for now, these add-on process requires some more input, okay? So for this, I need to import which resource. I'm sorry, operator 1. I'm going to seize operator 1. Second, I'm going to using setup tear down 1. Everybody see what I'm doing? Okay. For that. Now I'm going to server 2, actually. This part. Same thing. I'm going to choose operator 2. And choose setup and tear down 2. So all the arrows are gone. So now you can see that we can specify which operator and which tally I'm going to use. However, in the seize section, instead of seize a specific operator, now I seize what? My token, which operator accepted from the input. It's like a subroutine you run and you give an input parameter and we call it which operator. Okay, this is done. Okay. Now, the second one, when we release the operator, we also going to let this portion run by these user-defined token, my token. Also, I'm going to input two things. And we're still going to call it what operators. Just a name prompt you to input what. And this should be which operator. Second, we're going to call it what tally to use. And it's going to be which tally statistic. Okay. So again, now we have some error message since those two actually I need to redefine here. For after process server, I need to actually release the operator 1 for the first machine and using second tally statistic, first tally statistics. This part, again, the same thing. We're going to release the second operator and using the second tally. So now it's done. All the error messages are gone, and now you can see I'm still using the same two add-on processes. However, by using a customized user-defined token, I'll be able to accept input upon executing these two add-on process. So for different plays, I can just put in different type. Actually, you know what? When we go to this portion, I really, for the first part, I want to seize. Sorry, not this one. This one. For the first part, I just need to know which resource to seize. I don't care about what tally yet. So the second tally can be deleted. Understand what I'm trying to say? So process come in, determine which operator I need to seize, generate setup and tear down time, delay for the setup time, and then move on. to get processed. But after process, it comes here, delay for the tear down time, release the proper operator, and collect statistic for appropriate the correct tally information. Question for me so far? A little bit more complicated. Okay. Did I? Oh, maybe here. I didn't replace the right operator. Release. So this is it for question 3. Any question for me so far? They're silent. You guys already know what to do, I think. I hope. All right. Next things I want to do is actually for after the process is done, usually the server automatically release themselves, which is this capacity right here. Server capacity will automatically release after the process is done. And then we cease operator, but then the actually entities already move on. So how can we hold on to the machine not accepting the next entity come in to get processed while I'm doing the tear down process? So basically right here, I need to have another, before the delay and after delay, I need to seize the machine also, still keep the machine, and release the machine after the delay. So seize machine again, seize the server, and release the server. I'm sorry. Seize and release the server. But the problem is I have 2 servers, server 1, server 2. Can you tell me what to do? I need to, in this process, determine which server to keep for a little bit of the time tear down is happening to prevent the next entity come in to play. And the rest of them are already done. So for this, I'm going to simply add another reference, object reference. Okay, reference and object. What are we going to call? Which server? Is that okay? I'm going to add this which server. And in the process of here, instead of only using the operator and the tally, I also need what server. And it's referring to my token dot which server. So thinking about my token as model entity, as a dummy or fake entity. Now you have 2 errors. Okay, so can you help me to fix this problem on your own? Okay, I'm going to leave a little bit for you to accomplish in this case. Any question on this model?